Morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on Cool FM Live for our Cochise County Sports Show. I'm Dave Davies. That's Paul Corder.
Forgot how to sit down.
How y'all doing today? But yeah, so again, we've had a lot of exciting stuff going on here recently. We announced our Cochise County All-Star Game on March 29th in Benson, Arizona. Y'all might want to be there for that one.
Congratulations, Dave, on that one. Dave and Dennis Baker really taking the reins on that.
No, this has become a collaborative thing. Like, Alex Montillo has been so helpful for this.
Yes, he has.
Coach Williams, has really jumped on this. It's going to be a blast. The kids are ready. We're going to have so much fun.
And that's the one thing. That's the one reservation I had is, doing stuff at this scale. I was like, what's the reception going to be? Are we going to get kids there? Are we going to struggle to put the teams together? We actually have 22
We have
boys.
too many boys.
We have too many boys, and we would have too many girls if it wasn't for the injuries. So, by the way, folks, if you are injured but think you can make the game, go ahead and come down. We'll find a spot for you on the squad.
Don't make it an open invite.
No, I'm just saying for if you've been invited and you're part of the
yeah.
Lexi Boss, Scarlett Ruiz, Iguian, all those ladies.
But yeah, before we go ahead and get this thing started, I'd like to thank Pueblo Del Vista Golf Center or Pueblo Del Sol.
Nailed it.
They have the Vista card. It's the cheapest, most wonderful golf experience in Cochise County, Arizona. So come down here, enjoy a round of golf. The weather's about to get ugly, so I recommend getting out here today or tomorrow before it gets ugly again for another week, and then we can go back into our normal Arizona weather.
Also, thank you to Synergy Home Care of Sierra Vista, providing non-medical home care all across Cochise and Santa Cruz County. Did I say Cochise County? Of Sierra Vista, either which way. Call them today, 520-685-1035, providing non-medical home care all across Cochise and Santa Cruz County. Third time I've said that. Great ad read, Paul. You're crushing it today. But again, folks, we got a lot to get into today. We're going to talk about Cochise County baseball and softball, as always. One thing I want to talk about before we get started is the Cochise College Apaches, who both busted out of the semifinals of the ACCAC Region Championship. So hopefully they get the at-large bids and we can have them in the big dance, the NJCAA tournament. But as it stands right now, talking to some of the people in the organization, that's unlikely to happen, which sucks. The girls made it to top 12. In the nation this year.
That is a sad end to great seasons by those two teams.
One thing you don't know that we got going on, Dave, the return of Paul's Power Rankings. We haven't done it since football season, and we're about to get it started.
Oh, that's tough.
It is a little tough, and I do disagree with Max Preps on one thing. Well, yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter. But then we have our quizzy for Pizzy, and then we have Dave's diatribe.
No. There's somewhere where we have to start today because you're not going to believe this when I tell you. Okay, so we're going to start talking baseball and softball. We are going to start with the Tombstone Lady Yellow Jackets, and there's a reason why. So they're 4-4 in the year. They're 2-0 in their region. They beat Wilcox last week 13-5. They beat Thatcher 15-2. That's great. They're at home this week against St. David. They're at home this week against Benson. Let's talk about the Thatcher game. Are you ready for this? Bria Gross is a sophomore. She went 4 for 4, 10 RBI, 3 runs scored.
10 RBI.
Which means she hit 3 home runs in that game for 10 RBIs and 3 runs scored. That is the stat line of the year. Sophomore Bria Gross, 4 for 4, 10 RBI, 3 runs scored. Hayden Dobbins also went 3 for 3 with an RBI and 4 runs scored. But Bria Gross, the stat line of the year. Congratulations to the Tombstone Lady Yellow Jackets. They're playing St. David today. We are
game of the year.
I was obligated to Wilcox and Bisbee, and I'm telling you that there is this much of me that is about to change my mind and go to Tombstone, Arizona to watch them play St. David. I am so close to changing my mind right now.
Stay tuned, folks. You never know what kind of program updates you're going to get. As Gerald Morgan in the chat says, hi, Dave. Yeah. And here's the thing about that 4-4 record. A little bit misleading because they have played Cienega twice.
Yes.
They've scheduled 5A.
Cienega.
They're scheduling 5A and 4A opponents because the Yellow Jacket softball team is that good. But when you put them against 2A, even Thatcher, I believe, is 3A or 4A, and they put it on them. The Lady Yellow Jackets.
15-2, yes.
The Lady Yellow Jackets.
10 RBIs in a 15-run game.
Yeah, congratulations to the stat line of the year from Bria Gross, sophomore, for the Tombstone Lady Yellow Jackets.
Her older sister had 2 hits in the game, too, but, I mean, what are you going to do?
Look, That is worth mentioning for sure. When you have someone with 10 RBI in a game, 3 home runs, and that's one thing I love about softball. You do get the long ball a lot, especially with the teams we have across Cochise County. St. David and Tombstone's always our home run derby when we go out there.
No spoilers on that one. St. David softball's coming up as well. But yes,
let's go over to the boys. Let's go over to the boys. Tombstone Yellow Jackets.
Finally, I know I was supposed to do y'all's game on last Friday, and the weather was awful. We have a tournament. I will be seeing the Tombstone Yellow Jackets on Thursday evening. Don't worry, I'll be right there.
We do have the 2 big tournaments going off in Tucson and Cochise County. We have the Lancer Baseball Classic in Tucson, which you'll see the Bulldogs, the Bobcats, and the Colts at. And then everyone else goes to the Warren Classic that will be held in Warren Ballpark, which we will be at Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe the one Wednesday. We'll definitely be there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We have we have Wilcox, St. David, Tombstone, and Bisbee on that schedule. So against a variety of other teams like Ray and whatever. So. Yeah, for sure. So let's get over to the Tombstone Yellow Jackets.
Grab my hoodie. You talk Tombstone.
It's not that even.
I'm cold.
You've got a underneath shirt on. You've got. It ain't that cold. It's like 60 degrees, brother. I'm not going to lie to you. Anyway, let's get over to the Tombstone Yellow Jackets. We've delayed long enough, and Tombstone starting this season off better than they have in the last few years, which is saying something because the Tombstone Yellow Jackets, after the first month of the season, always carry that number 1 ranking out of AZ Preps 365. They are 5-1-1 on the season. They are 3-0 in regions. They went 3-0 last week. They beat Benson, Wilcox, St. Augustine Catholic. They do have St. David coming up at home, and then they're at the Warren Ballpark Classic. And with the Tombstone Yellow Jackets, as always, we have to start and end with DJ Elias. DJ Elias, if you see Dave, I actually had to curve his stat lines because there's too many numbers for this kid. Last week, he did start one game, and he had 9 innings pitched, so he actually came in and closed the game 2 against Wilcox, where I just remember they no-hit the Wilcox Cowboys. Brendan Caballero and DJ Elias combined for a no-hitter on that one. But we'll talk about DJ's stats individually. 9 innings pitched. He had 12 strikeouts last week, a 0 ERA, and a complete game. Even more impressive, he had 625 last week, a home run in Wilcox. Thanks for doing that for me, DJ. Had a triple, 4 RBI, and 2 stolen bases. DJ Elias, boy, I'll tell you what, he is coming out of the gates hot. He is upset he didn't get that Player of the Year last year.
I've been saying it all year, and I'm going to say it all year. Revenge tour for the Tombstone Yellow Jackets. DJ and the Tombstone Yellow Jackets they want it all. They want the whole thing.
Here's a name that you might not know, Eric Kohler, and I believe he's a senior. Might be a sophomore. I can't remember. Eric Kohler, who I was broadcasting Wilcox, at 700 last week. Remember, they had 3 games. This is all over 3 games.
Who is Eric Kohler?
He had 3 RBI. Brendan Caballero. Fun story about Brendan Caballero. He is taller than you. And I said, why weren't you playing basketball? He says, I stink at it. I'm like, me too, brother. Me too. But he hit 555, 3 RBI in that game against Wilcox. He went 5 innings, no hit, shutout baseball, a 0 ERA, and struck out 5. And I didn't know who else to put on here for the Yellow Jackets. It was who else do you want on here? So what I did is I did team stats. And as a team, they hit 476 last week. They had 13 stolen bases. They outscored their opponents 34-6. And again, they no-hit Wilcox. The Tombstone Yellow Jackets, as you said, Dave, Revenge Tour, are not messing around this year.
They're going to run into Bisbee, and I can't wait for that one.
That's going to
be a front row seat, baby. Oh my!
I say it all the time. I'm not going to do it again because last year I picked before Bisbee beat Tombstone. I picked Tombstone over Bisbee. They beat them twice. I'm not going to get caught up in that again. I will say it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a row.
I'm on my way out to Wilcox today, so tell me about Wilcox Cowboys.
Let's transition over to those Wilcox.
I might go to Tombstone
because they're now 2-3-1. They're 1-1 in region. 2-1 last week. They're on a 2-game winning streak after starting the 3-1. So starting to run a little bit better. We expected Wilcox with that young lineup to start turning over a little bit better, a little bit this year. It seems like that's finally going to happen. So they did lose to Tombstone, but they beat Desert Christian and Patagonia. Bisbee at home.
Okay, yeah.
We're going to today, maybe. And then they have the Warren Baseball Classic. And we're going to start off our conversations with Jerry Reyes. Jerry Reyes against Desert Christian. The starting pitcher threw a 1.31 ERA and struck out 10. Uh-oh. Yeah, we got audio switching. Doesn't matter. We're going to keep powering through it. I'm sorry, everybody. 572 for Jerry. A double, 3 stolen bases. We'll go over to Anthony Morales, who hit 400 this last week. 2 RBI, 4 stolen bases, also a double. Ty Scholl, 667, and then Joe says we're going to talk about starting appearance. 1.75 ERA against Patagonia, also Wilcox starting to get it together.
That's all right. What's for that Tombstone David game today? I cannot see my boys. That's going to be something else. And you got he's just pulling it all. But yeah, can't wait to watch some Wilcox Cowboys baseball today. Again, if I go out there, I may or may not. We'll find out. But let's go and talk about Wilcox softball. 3-5 on the year, 0-1 in their region. They had one game last week. They lost to Tombstone. No shame in that game. They are playing Bisbee today. They're at Santa Cruz Valley, and they're home against Morenci. So busy week for Wilcox softball. In that Tombstone game, Layla Donahue 3 for 4 with a ribby. Glory and Cenas 3 for 3, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. So Wilcox softball, I mean, it's so competitive. They're right there. But yeah, so what? Long season, big week this week. So we'll see what they have to offer here. Let's
no see. Disrespect to Wilcox softball. We're all just waiting for Hattie to come up now. Love Hattie.
Right.
Ryan Russell in the chat says, "Hey yo, it's baseball time."
What's up, Ryan? Let's see here. So I'm going to go ahead and move over
Make sure you project. We're not in the mics anymore.
I'm going to go ahead and lower this.
We have to yell at the camera again.
Let's go to Benson Lady Bobcat softball. 3-3 on the year, 1-1 in their region. They had a tournament last week. They went 2-2 in. They had 2 wins. A win over Sabre, a win over Moon Valley. They lost to Chino Valley. They lost to Round Valley. This week, they're at Tombstone. They're at home against St. David. Oh, it's Salome. Excuse me, not Sabre, Salome. They did beat Salome 16-0.
There you go.
Claire Park, 2 for 2 in that game with an RBI and a run. Mandy Watson, 2 for 2, 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored, and the number 1 pick in the March 29th All-Star game, Kaylee Taylor, 2 for 2, RBI and a run scored. So Benson Lady Bobcats, again, everybody's right there. Nobody's really, Tombstone's looking good, but nobody's really pulled apart for this thing yet, so everybody keep it up.
Stick around next week, folks. I think we're going to, Ryan Russell says, don't yell at me. I think we're going to have everything figured out for everybody. Don't worry about that. Let's go over to the Benson boys, who start off the season 2-6, 1-2 in regions. They went 1-2 last week. They beat Desert Christian. They lost to Bisbee and Tombstone. They will be participating in the Lancer Baseball Classic, which isn't really a tournament. It's just a showcase for all the teams that are in it, because they don't play everybody. Because there's a lot of teams that they're bringing in for the Lancer Baseball Classic.
I noticed that with the Bisbee tournament. There's no real winner. Like, everybody just plays.
Yeah, for sure. More just a showcase, but the Lancer has more teams. I think they only play 1 a day, something like that. It doesn't even matter. But there are no stats, Alex Montillo, for the Benson Bobcats. So we're going to go ahead and, well, before we transition over, Dave, you saw the Benson Bobcats play, and I saw in the game too. It looks like the pitching is there, and they just got to get the bats hot. Speaking of hot bat, Dawson Judd, the home run of all home runs.
I can still hear that crack in my sleep. Crack! Like I said, my depth perception isn't the best, and with that home run, that was one of the ones where I was like, oh, it's gone. I was like, oh, that ball is very, very, very gone.
I did the same thing at DJ, and I just always say high fly ball, and I was like, oh, he didn't get all of that, because it didn't sound like he got all that. But then I saw him do a bat flip. I'm like, oh, this one must have gone.
Yeah, he felt like he got all that. The Dawson Judd definitely got all of that last week against the Bisbee Pumas to the tune of 400 feet off the scoreboard.
But yeah, so the Benson Bobcats, they're going to be there. They always are. And I'm not going to fall into the same trap that I told you about Tombstone and Bisbee last year. I'm not going to fall in the same trap where Benson kind of gets written off. I think I had them towards the bottom until they made that lineup change and rattled off 9 in a row.
Yeah, written off to the tune of the state semifinals.
Yeah, so we're not going to write off the Benson Bobcats just yet. It takes time, and they have championship medal. They won a championship a few years ago.
Yeah. Again, that was when Crocker was a freshman. So some of these seniors were on that team.
Yeah. So let's go over to the Bisbee Pumas. They are doing just as well as our Tombstone Yellow Jackets, our Douglas Bulldogs, and our Buena Colts. Oh, wait, we haven't talked about them yet. Don't worry, we'll get there, folks. They went 2-0 last week. They beat Benson and San Manuel. They have Wilcox today, and then the Warren Ballpark Classic. I want to give a big shout-out to Horacio Olivaria against the Benson Bobcats. He went 4 for 4, had a dinger over the monster in Benson, Arizona, 3 RBI. Congratulations to Horacio Olivaria. Jackson Alvarez against San Miguel also hit 1,000, went 3 for 3, had 2 doubles and 3 RBI. Brian Russell in the chat says you got to warm up talking about the Bobcats and find that groove. Absolutely. We'll go over to Sebastian Lopez over the weekend, or over the week, I should say. 428, a double, a triple, and 6 stolen bases in 2 games for Mr. Here, There, Everywhere, Sebastian Lopez. Big shout-outs as well to Javi Montiel, who finished the week with 4 RBI, 3 of them on that bases-clearing double we saw.
Yes, sir.
Brian Martinez against San Manuel had 10 strikeouts, a complete game, and a shutout.
3-hit shutout.
And then against Benson, Bryson Meyer threw 5 1/3 innings and 11 strikeouts, only 1 run allowed.
Oh, I had it at 12. I was counting them during the game. Max Preps, he failed us. It was 12. I literally counted them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I counted them off. It was 12.
Oh, man. Let's talk about the Lady Pumas. Is all I got going through my head is how nice it's going to be not to have technical difficulties anymore.
The Lady Puma, I promised you a good season, and they are providing it for us. 2-1, 1-0 in their region. They beat Benson 12-3. They lost to St. David 7-4. You know what that means. And then they beat San Manuel 16-4. So today they are at Wilcox, and then they have a tournament. Ray, Camp Verde, Round Valley. But let's talk about that San Manuel game, 16-4. Alyssa Lopez, 3 for 4, 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored. Isabella Solis, 3 for 4, 2 RBIs, 3 runs scored. Maria Lopez, 2 for 4, an RBI, 3 runs scored. So the Bisbee Lady Pumas are back on track. I told you they would be, baby. Let's do this. And here's the other one. You ready for this one? Let's talk about this. Let's get to the St. David Power Hour. Our St. David Lady Tigers. They're 2-0. They haven't played a regional game yet. They did beat They did beat Bisbee. They are at Tombstone today. I might go to Tombstone today. And then they're at home against Benson this week. But
if everyone's wondering why we can't do Tombstone and Bisbee, we can't, because we have no multi-streaming capabilities on Facebook anymore. We can't do 2 streams at the same time. I know what you're thinking. When you have sports, you have Cool FM, but then we can't lock up both pages for 2.5 hours. I know.
So this is what I find fascinating about this game, that St. David beat Bisbee. Now I'm going to tell you because of the stat lines here. So I have a feeling I know what happened. Emma Hart went 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run scored. Sounds like a home run. Cameron Hawkins went 1 for 3 with 1 RBI and 1 run scored. Looks like a home run. Piper Merrill went 1 for 3 with 1 RBI and 1 run scored. These look like a bunch of home runs on the stat sheet. I don't know.
They run them down.
It didn't say it on mine. All I know is it looks like 3 home runs for the St. David Lady Tigers. But again, they have the Tombstone Yellow Jackets today. What a game that's going to be.
What a game.
And then they're home against the Lady Bobcats. So St. David Lady Tigers,
We're gonna have to see
as advertised.
If Paisley Gooding's throwing for the St. David Tigers, we might have to skip out on. No, because Wilcox is building us a platform to broadcast.
That's
from.
right, Stephen Ward.
You know what? Sorry, Dave, you're stuck.
I don't mind going to Wilcox.
I might just. You know
I mean,
what?
it's only once in a while where you get St. David and Tombstone playing each other at softball, where like heavyweight battle.
We might just go bring the girls out and go watch Tombstone versus St. David softball. It's softball season for my girls too.
Why not? Like, show them the creme de la creme.
Amy Lee Evans in the chat says deep fly balls for the St. David Tigers. I think you're right, Dave. I think it was all home runs, all dingers.
I was looking at the stat line. These have to be home runs. I'm like, if you're looking at the way they'll fell in. But yeah, I mean, again,
St. David Power Hours, football season and softball season.
If you're going to be out there, you might as well just broadcast it on your own page. You know?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, to be honest with you. We'll see what happens. Let's talk about the St. David boys, who are 1-1 on the season. They lost to Bisbee, but that was 2 weeks ago, so they're 1-0 last week. They play Fort Thomas, or they beat Fort Thomas, and then they will be playing Wednesday, kicking off our Warren Baseball Classic against those same Bisbee Pumas.
Yeah. We're going to have a better version of St. David by that time.
Oh, Amy Lee Evans says they were close, but they weren't home runs.
Oh, I don't know. I just said, just judging off the stat line, I'm like, these look like a bunch of home runs to me.
So we'll talk about the St. David Tigers against Fort Thomas. Cedar Haney led the team with a .500 average, 2 for 4, 3 RBI. Clark Wilson, the freshman, went 1 for 3 with a double and 2 RBI. Cooper Merrill went 1 for 3 with a double and 2 RBI. And then Luke Haymore and Owen Judd both went 1 for 3 with an RBI in that game for the St. David Tigers.
Yes, they opened their season with Bisbee, which is kind of an auspicious start, a way to open their season, but St. David's going to be fine.
We'll get over to our other 1A team that's fielding a varsity baseball roster. That's the Valley Union Blue Devils, who didn't play last week. So they still sit at 1-0, but they will be home for Bobby Kievery and then at Patagonia this week.
Let's talk about the Valley Union ladies. 1-1, 0-1 in their region. They beat San Simon 17-6. There was a little weird thing on the Max Preps. They're either playing Ray on Saturday or they're playing Baba Kivry on Saturday. I'm not sure. But, let's see. San Simon. No stats for Valley Union. Stats. Oh, and speaking of, I'm going to be making a phone call after the show today. But, Angel Souza, batting .500 on the year. Lexi Boss, a 1,000 or 100 fielding percentage on the season.
Boss?
Lexi Boss has not committed an error yet on this season.
She's playing.
No, what?
She had her knee in a cast last time I saw her.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, she again, there's no stats. That's all I have.
Congratulations, Lexi Boss, man. I didn't know she'd be back right now. We'll see at the Cochise game, huh?
Speaking of no stats, I'm going to be making a phone call today. The Douglas Lady Bulldogs.
Hold on, we're transitioning over to our 4A and 5A now, folks.
Because I don't have anything on them. Real quick, San Simone 0-2.
Oh, okay.
They lost to Valley Union. They have Hayden next Monday. No stats. But the no stats hour. The Douglas Lady Bulldogs are 4-0. They haven't played a regional game. They beat Rincon 14-4. They beat Pueblo 18-5. They play Tanque Verde on Friday. They played Tanque Verde on Friday. There was nobody listed a score on that game. And they have Casa Grande on Thursday. I have no stats on the Douglas Lady Bulldogs. I'm making a phone call after this game. They're winning games by 10 plus, and I have no idea who's even on the team.
Wednesday they have
a tournament. They didn't even have a roster.
They have a softball tournament Wednesday that will be in Douglas, Arizona, and that softball stadium's legit too. I love the Copper Queen Stadium for the Douglas Bulldogs and whatever they call that one for the Lady Bulldogs, the softball. It's a gorgeous field.
You know, we say this all the time. We are sorry that we can't do everything. Because trust me, if there was two of me, one of me is in Tombstone today watching the St. David Lady Tigers play softball against Tombstone, and the other one's in Wilcox. We can't be everywhere. St. David's playing Bisbee on Wednesday. The Douglas tournament's on Wednesday. We can't be everywhere. We're sorry. But yeah, Douglas Lady Bulldogs are apparently the greatest thing on earth, but I don't even know who's on the team. So, Coach.
Well, the Douglas Bulldogs do have stats, and I'll tell you what, 5-1 on the season. Haven't started region play yet.
They're so good.
They went 2-0 last week. They beat Rincon and they beat Pueblo. They'll be playing in the Lancer Classic. And the Douglas Bulldogs, according to Max Preps, are the third best team in the Tucson, Southeast Arizona region. And they're the number 1 team out of Cochise County, right in front of Bisbee, Tombstone, and then Buena. So, stick around. Paul's Power Rankings are coming up, too. We'll talk about freshman Christopher Escarcega last week. In these two games, hit .833 freshman, .833 home run, and 5 RBI for freshman Christian Escarcega. Exactly. We have Martin Saburian, might be the closer for the Douglas Bulldogs. He came in 4 innings pitched, 5 strikeouts. Both those were 2-inning pitches, so I do believe he gets credit for the saves because they're 2-inning saves. Andres Ortiz hit .500 with a triple and 2 RBI last week. And you remember what I used to do last year for the Douglas Bulldogs, because so many people would hit 1,000. Have to do it again. So Escarcega, Emiliano Fimbres, Mauricio Alegria, Andres Ortiz, Martin Siberian, all hit 1,000 in a game. That's a perfect 3 for 3, 4 for 4. And the Douglas Bulldogs, every bit as advertised. One thing that doesn't
show a revenge tour after that CDO game last year, Douglas was like, "No, we're going to learn how to hit the ball."
You know what doesn't show up on the box score? How good their defense is. I mean, the only thing you have is like fielding percentage.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
That, I mean, their flashy defense, their sound defense, whatever needs to get the job done. Talked about Ivan Aguirre, who still has yet to show up in the box score. Jose, we're paying attention. The range he has at shortstop, going deep in the hole and being able to throw. It's like
Are we sure he's playing?
Jeter and Garcia Parra and all those Rodriguez back in the day, all those great shortstops.
Are we sure he's playing?
Bobby Witt Jr. he is, trust me.
Okay.
I've seen the stats. He just hasn't been offensively as I mean, how are you going to crack 833? You know, in the box
yeah,
scores?
it's hard to make your way onto the
He does
list.
have, I think, 4 stolen bases last week. So
Okay.
shout out. Let's get over to our 518, which will round out our high school coverage. The Buena Colts are 4-2 this season. One of their losses coming to Ironwood Ridge, who is one of the 2 teams ranked ahead of Douglas and Tucson, and they only lost by a run in that one. But last week, they went 1-1. They beat Morena. They lost to Ironwood Ridge, and they will be playing in the Lancer Baseball Classic. And we're going to get over. We'll start our coverage with Angel Oliveras, who had a run, went 3 for 3. Against Ironwood Ridge.
Okay.
Actually had 2 runs as well, shout out Shepe, and had 2 stolen bases in that game against Ironwood Ridge, a game they lost, I think it was 10-9, I forgot to write down the score. And of course we have to talk about Austin Cushman when we talk about the Buena Colts against Morenci. He struck out 9 and also hit 500 in that ball game. Catcher Nate Whitworth has 2 stolen bases. Robert Isaacson had a stolen base and 2 RBI. And then Kai Erlmeyer had 4 strikeouts, 500 and a triple across the weekend. So congratulations, Buena Colts.
I got another team that we were supposed to cover last Friday. And the weather, we all live here. We all know what it was. So.
Well, there was only one game that went off, and that was the Wilcox game. And by that time, we just...
And from all accounts, it was about 30 degrees outside on that field.
It would have been the second inning when we got there, so...
Yeah, again, Buena, you were supposed to be covered last Friday. You're on the schedule. You'll get covered. The only unfortunate one that I have is the Buena Lady Colts.
Still winless.
0-7 on the year. Lost to Ironwood Ridge, lost to Marana. They're in a tournament this week, so it is turnaround week for the Lady Colts. They have Sabino, they have Marana, they have Cienega. Just win the Cienega game, okay? We don't care about anything else. But in that Marana game that they lost, Ariella Antman, a name all year long, 3 for 3 with a run scored. Morgan Smith, 2 for 3 with 1 run scored. So Buena Lady Colts, again, this is tournament week. It's a week that you turn it around. So, and again, just beat Cienega. That's all anybody cares about. Did you win the Cienega game? When you 20 years from now, did we win the Cienega game?
Kim Sanchez in the chat says it was so cold Friday at the Wilcox game for sure.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Well, that would have been his.
You know what? He loves to go behind the curtains. I'll go behind the curtains for you. It was about 12:30 on Friday, and we do a lot for these kids. Everything we can. It was about 12:30 on Friday, and I text the guy at Cool of Heaven. I'm like, I'm not going. I'm just not doing this. We have PTSD from a game a couple years ago, and I'm like, I'm not doing this. I don't have warm enough clothes to sit out there. I can't do it. So Wilcox, I'm glad you won. Sorry we couldn't be there, but I'm not doing it.
I was putting out feelers everywhere. I was going to go do a game.
I know you were.
And then the last one was Wilcox.
You were trying to get me to go do a game. I'm like, I'm not doing it.
I think I found out Wilcox was available at 2 when I couldn't get off until like 3:30 or so. So it would have been 4:30 when I got out there. The game even went off at 3:45. So
yeah.
Big shout out to the Wilcox support for the JV team because that was fun to watch. Keep it up, guys.
I'm going to take a look at it today.
Hey, is there anyone that could switch varsity to JV around so we can get that kind of atmosphere on our streams? That place was loud. Absolutely loved it. That's going to do it for our high school coverage. Now, returning for the first time since football season, Paul's Power Rankings. Dave, you can remove the Marine Academy hat because they are no longer playing varsity baseball this year. And we will set everything up. Interesting power rankings as well. I'm going to try to keep these in the shot. It looks like just left of your cup is where we can start. are shot at, and the St. David Tigers are going to be my 8th ranked team this year. I was going to go top 4, so
well, until they beat Bisbee tomorrow, that'll change your mind.
They just might. With the St. David Tigers, their 2 arms are hurt, so it's nothing they can really do about it. The Valley Union Blue Devils, who didn't play last week, but I'm going to give them credit for their undefeated season.
Until they beat Bisbee on Monday.
This guy, let me tell you. Then we start our 2A with the Wilcox Cowboys.
Until they beat Bisbee today. We'll see what time that is.
All right, that's enough. That's run its course.
No.
Then we'll go number 5 team, the Benson Bobcats.
You know who they play this weekend? Yeah, right. We'll see.
I don't know who they play.
They play Bisbee.
Oh. And this is where I'm going to start to disagree with Max Preps.
No, they're in the other tournament, my bad.
The Douglas Bulldogs are going to be my 4th ranked team. And you can see I scribbled it out. I had them up there.
First AAA and now you. Okay.
Well, okay, they're top 4. Okay, they're top 4. But when you talk about the top 3 teams, you talk about this offensive explosion that they can put out for you, and one's the defending champ. So number 3, going to be the Buena Colts, and this was close. This was close to having them number 2.
I can't make a bold statement because we haven't seen Buena play yet, but I bet you Douglas would beat Buena right now, but I don't know.
I don't know.
We haven't seen Buena play yet.
No, they didn't schedule each other. That was in football season. I was like, I cannot wait for that Douglas Buena baseball game, and they didn't schedule each other. I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, Bisbee over Tombstone, huh?
Coach Fernandez.
Yeah, let's give Tombstone some more fodder. Let's do that. You know what, Tombstone?
Well,
enough disrespect.
This one, my number 1 ranked team is going to be very much no surprise because they are the defending champs, and to beat the champs, you got to beat the champs. And we will see what the Tombstone Yellow Jackets have in store for the Bisbee Pumas. And I will say, Dave, this is what I love about baseball season. These are constantly changing, all across, and especially in 2A, they all play in the same conference. Wilcox goes up and beats Bisbee. All of a sudden, Wilcox has to jump up. We've got the Douglas Bulldogs, who are ready. Now, the only reason they're at number 4 right now, I haven't got to look at their pitching. And I know what Austin Cushman brings to the table. I know what Angel Olivares brings to the table.
DJ Bryson, yeah.
And these 3 offenses might be the best 3 offenses in the state of Arizona. So
no,
you can't really pick against them.
You see me with the Bisbee hat on. You know the Pumas gave me a ring.
Tyler Omeyer as well.
Like you know what? I'm gonna get a Bisbee B tattooed on my leg. I am. I sat here last May and I told you the Tombstone Yellow Jackets are winning the whole thing this year. I sat right here and told you that. Again, you see the Bisbee hat on. The Tombstone Yellow Jackets are winning the whole thing. All of it. All of it. I mean, the 2A state kabunga is going to Tombstone Yellow Jackets.
You have to put the defending champs where they are. And they've earned
no disagreement. No disagreement.
I will agree with you.
There's an edge to Tombstone.
In saying, and I've broadcasted the Yellow Jackets so far this year, they are playing at a much higher level than they were last year, which is crazy to think because they were the number 1 team in 2A for the longest time.
Last year there was a cockiness. This year there's a mentality.
There's a focus.
Yeah. We're like, all right, no, never again.
DJ's still cocky. DJ's still, as well he should be. Confident.
I'm pretty sure he struts in his dreams.
So yeah, I mean, and again, we're still waiting on the Benson Bobcats. They did this last year.
Yeah. Go and write them off. And then they won't write back.
Yeah, no kidding, right? The Wilcox Cowboys lost their 4 seniors, but those young kids that are up there, we talk about Reyes and Scholl and Morales, they were there last year. They were part of the greatest comeback or greatest upset we've ever seen in the state of Arizona. 15 seed over a 2 seed. They know how to get it done. Valley Union, I'll tell you, Steven De La Cruz, if he is that number 2 arm, he was looking every bit the part against Duncan. So we'll see about that. And the St. David Tigers are the St. David Tigers.
Well, let's not forget there's an X factor going on here. You see the Bisbee hat. You know they gave me a ring. I'm going to Wilcox today. When those boys see old Dave walk in there, they might just give Bisbee the what for. So we'll see. I'll see y'all in Wilcox.
Well, there you go, folks.
I won't be wearing my Bisbee hat. I know better than that.
Wow, look at that. We bring back Pulse Power Rankings and the views come out. Let's go. Get in the chat, folks. Let me know how wrong I am. I'm sure there's some fans out there that want to give me shtick for where their teams are, but that's what the comments are for, and I'll read them out.
Hey, David, you're in Bisbee tomorrow. He has you in last place.
It's not last place. This is the state of Arizona. This is Cochise. That means you're the 8th best team in the state of Arizona.
Okay. Fair enough.
We know what Cochise County baseball is. We know what Cochise County baseball is.
All right, so we're going to segue on here. I'm very excited about this.
Chepe, ain't nobody sleeping on Buena this year, and I was supposed to do their game Friday.
We haven't seen him yet. We haven't seen him yet. We don't know yet. We haven't.
Oh, I know. I saw them all last year. They only graduated. Like Pitts is gone, and there's a couple other. But I mean, Whitworth is back, and of course Cushman. I've been broadcasting him since he was a bleeping sophomore. You know.
Yeah, well, again, we have you on. You're supposed to be broadcast last Friday. We have you on the schedule. We'll get there.
They did lose Coach Schaefer, but it looks like Coach Tommy Fernandez has got everything in order for the Buena Colts. But we're still sitting here with this hat, by the way. We have so many Buena fans.
You also didn't. We weren't at the Buena game. You could have asked them for one.
I was going to. I swear, I thought I was going to have one. But we have so many Buena fans, and we still have our personal hat. The only hat that's actually been purchased on this table, by the way.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Anyway, go ahead, Dave. We got
all right
a segment that you're super excited.
I am excited about this. So our standard procedure: 3-question quizzy for Pizzy. Let's start this off correctly. The Seattle Seahawks traded DK Metcalf to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes.
Why does God hate me?
He loves you. DK's a malcontent. We saw it. We saw it in his attitude. Fighting defensive backs downfield for no reason. 15-yard penalties unnecessarily. A lot of hate went to Geno Smith last year for the Seattle Seahawks. And honestly, with his issues in the red zone, maybe deservedly so, but they were always put behind the 8 ball with the attitude of DK Metcalf. And that's, I mean, the more upsetting one is Tyler Lockett. He should have been a Seahawk lifer, especially if you're trying to rebuild this year. Just give Tyler Lockett his money and let him retire a Seahawk.
Question 2. The Seahawks cut Tyler Lockett. What did I do wrong? What did I do?
I have a feeling of where the third one's going to be. It might be someone that you had signed. Yeah, Tyler, and this goes back, and I actually saw this, Richard Sherman. You know, I watched Richard Sherman a little bit as Ryan Russell in the chat says, Pizzy time! That's kind of becoming a trend for the Seattle Seahawks. Is there a place where you can't retire as a Seahawk lifer? Bobby Wagner's still playing. He's still playing at a high level. 4 years removed from his release from the Seattle Seahawks.
It was 2 years.
Well, I mean, there was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then he came back for 3. But so Bobby Wagner's still playing. We talked about the Legion of Boom. They all finished their careers elsewhere. Tyler Lockett. If there was one Seattle Seahawk that deserved to finish his career in Seattle, it was Tyler Lockett. The man who constantly got you 1,000 yards, was never talked about because he never talked about anything. I don't think I've heard Tyler Lockett talk my entire life.
He's a good Christian boy.
And that's just those are the kind of players, you know, that I like. You know, you bring it, you don't sing it. Tyler Lockett. If there's anyone Marshawn Lynch finished his career somewhere else. Anyway, if there's anyone that deserved to be a Seahawk lifer, it was Tyler Lockett. And Richard Sherman was talking about it because he gets a lot of shit for going to the 49ers and repping 49ers. He goes, look, man, that's just the organization.
Question number 3. The Seattle Seahawks signed Sam Darnold. Should I continue living this life that I'm living right now? Do I need to find a new team? This is
okay, so there's nothing wrong with signing Sam Darnold for $33 million a year. That's less than Kyler Murray makes. You know, that's less than...
Because Kyler Murray's good!
Is he? How many playoff wins Kyler Murray have? Same
as
Sam
Darnold does.
The interesting part about that contract is the 3 years. So...
The way it's structured, it's actually 2 years. It's 38 this year, 19.
Okay.
So it's only 2 years. It's 2 years longer than it should be.
Well, that's because it was 3 years.
Is this not a lateral move? Is this not going sideways? Is Sam Darnold better than Geno Smith?
You want my honest opinion? It's not a lateral move. It's actually a little bit more of a decline than a lateral move. But Geno Smith is going to command more money, and they didn't want to tie him up to that. And Geno Smith deserved to get more money. He's not going to light the world on fire in Las Vegas like everyone's expecting him to. It's just weird. And then you got your running backs, not Walker, but the other one, Charbonnet. So they're going to lean into the run game. They're going to try to get that play action pass going like they had in Minnesota with Sam Darnold.
Oh.
It's weird times in Seattle right now. I'm sorry for you, brother. But Hey, you got your quarterback. It goes back. I told you should have traded up for Michael Penix. And by the way, I'm dead set in believing that Michael Penix is going to get better than Caleb Williams. Maybe not Jaden Daniels, but Caleb Williams for sure. So, I believe when all's said and done, Michael Penix will be the best quarterback in this class.
Sure you will be. Must be nice to have a quarterback.
Oh, the old Seahawks. Hey, man, it's a rebuilding year. Come out.
Right. No,
get rid of some cap. And
well, we have the diatribe coming up, and I didn't take off my hoodie for this.
All right. He's Raven. That's what we call Dave, and it's time for Dave's diatribe. Dave, take it away.
My friends, I have been doing Seahawks football since I was born, okay? I have the world's worst Seahawks tattoo on my arm right there, okay? It's the cover up. It's the worst tattoo ever because I'm such a fan that I'm okay with having the worst Seahawks tattoo. I'm pretty sure that the first words I ever spoke were Dave Craig, hold on to the ball. I have been there through all of it. I've been there from the very beginning. Steve Largent, the 83 playoff game. I was 5 years old when we beat the Raiders. I've been there from the beginning. I've been doing this my whole life. This is the worst 4 days for a Seattle Seahawks fan that we have ever experienced in our lives. This is one of those 4-day stretches where I've already been breaking up with the NFL, and the only thing that's kept me around really is the Seattle Seahawks. This is the tipping point for I don't know what my team is doing. This is brutal. Let's go down the checklist. We cut our favorite player. We traded our best player. We traded our quarterback for a 2nd-round pick, and then we signed a worse quarterback. Oh, at least we signed Ernest Jones. We did get Ernest Jones back. There's some things going on in my personal life that kind of correlate with what's going on with the Seattle Seahawks, but this is colossal as a Seattle Seahawks fan where you just watch your franchise just absolutely implode, and I have never been less excited for Seattle Seahawks football next year than I am right now. I don't want to watch what's about to hit that field.
You can do that. You can do that. I took one season off for the Kansas City Chiefs, and I watched a little bit of preseason. I saw what was going on in training camp. That's the year 2-14 and have the #1 pick. You can take a year off and revitalize yourself. I don't think anyone will give you shit for that.
I've gotten to the point where we do Cochise County. I don't like wearing the Bisbee hat when we're doing neutral stuff. There's a reason why I'm wearing the Bisbee hat is because I refuse to wear the Seahawks hat. Just so you know, that's why I'm wearing this hat right now, because they don't deserve. I have 11 Seahawks jerseys in my closet. I have 11 Seahawks hats hanging on my wall. I have enough Seahawks clothes where I can wear a different outfit every day for 3 months. It's all about to get thrown in the dumpster. Like,
Well,
I'm there. I'm there right
money.
now.
It's just
I'm
a
there
waste
right
of
now.
money.
I
will
there.
say,
I
when
can't
we do-
cover up the worst tattoo with another bad tattoo.
When we do get our when we do get our technical difficulties taken care of, you can't wear anything that's green, by the way. FYI.
Well, it's good, because I'm never wearing anything Seattle Seahawks ever again.
Oh, what a way to finish. I am sorry for the Seattle Seahawks, Dave. Normally when you talk Seahawks, viewership just declines and declines and declines. But they stuck with you. I think it's because you're paying. And everyone feels your pain. There's a lot of teams that feel like you right now. It could be worse. It could be the Dallas Cowboys. Your biggest move was we re-signed your long snapper.
At least they have a wide. Everybody thinks Smith and Jigba's so good. You know why he was so good? Because number 14 was on the other side of the field. What happens next year when he gets the #1 corner every game? Smith and Jigba's going to be worthless. And you know who's throwing on the ball?
Sammy D, baby.
Gosh darn it.
Oh, there you go. Ryan Russell in the chat says, it's okay, Dave. I'm a Cardinals fan. You'll be fine.
You know what? I had a young man in my work, and he was wearing a Cardinals jersey, and he was a young kid, like 12 years old. I was like, you know that the Seattle Seahawks have never lost in this stadium. It's coming next year, baby. If I'm a Cardinals fan, I am in that stadium for that Seahawks game, and I am going to shove it down every Seahawks fan's throat. I'm going to beat Seattle by 30, and I'm going to laugh my butt off at the Seattle Seahawks for a lifetime of misery that they've inflicted on the Arizona Cardinals.
I'm going to say a controversial joke. There's Cardinals fans in the state of Arizona.
There will be next year.
I've been living here. I don't care. I don't even care. I've been living here for over 10 years. I've never seen Cardinals Stadium packed with more Cardinals fans than away fans.
Right.
You did it to yourself.
Speaking of revenge tour, it's coming next year. The Cardinals are going to smoke Seattle at home. They've never beaten them. and they're going to whoop them at home.
Cardinals are a sleeper team. And last year, you said who's going to go worst to first. I said it was going to be the Cardinals, and they almost pulled it off. And I don't think there was a team that went worst to first.
I know who's not going to finish in first next year.
Who's that, Dave?
The Seattle Seahawks.
I know who else isn't. The Los Angeles Chargers. Congratulations, Los Angeles. 15 years in a row, preseason AFC West favorites.
They got Khalil Mack, baby. He's back.
The Bussy boy is going to join up in San Francisco. That's something to watch.
Oh, that's going to be. Folks, before we get out of here, thank you to Vista Golf Center in Pueblo Del Sol. Come get the Vista card, the cheapest, best golf experience that you're going to find in Cochise County, Arizona. It's a championship course. Like, make no doubt about it. PGA pros come down here to warm up their games because that's how difficult it's course, especially the back nine. The back nine will just whoop you.
Don't forget about that driving range they got.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Like,
maybe we just do that. Who cares about golf anymore when they got this?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I
want to hit some balls, but I don't feel like going up. You're not wrong. So, yeah, let's go check out that driving range.
And as always, folks, this is brought to you by Synergy Home Care.
See you in Wilcox.
Non-medical home care to all of Cochise and Santa Cruz County. Santa Cruz being Nogales, Cochise being anywhere from Douglas to Wilcox, San Simon, and everywhere in between. 520-685-1035. Non-medical home care. Yes, that is covered by different insurances and the state of Arizona and Veterans Affairs. Go ahead and call them up and see how you can get that paid for 100%. For Dave Davies, Paul Corder, thank you everyone for joining us again through our technical difficulties on Cool FM Live. And we will see, well, Dave will see you today, and we'll see you all weekend.